Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or watching this channel for the first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense because here on this platform we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions, but not everyone uses logic. For that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. Um, I also have another YouTube channel, a much smaller cat channel called Latina Diaspora, where I discuss issues pertaining to Latinos residing in the United States. Description is a link to that channel in the description. I want, First of all, I just want to give a huge shout out to all those who've already subscribed to the channel, whether you've been a supporter from the very beginning or you just recently joined. I really appreciate your love and continued support. Also, want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, as well as those who allow me to enter into your devices and those who watch from the clouds, even the haters. Right now, I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And shout out to the people who will be watching in Instagram. So, what I'm going to ask you to do if you have not done so, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and set the bell notification to all. So, therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. So, as you can see by the thumbnail, the description um, for the stream is you can't say that. So, basically, what I'm going to be talking about when it comes to social media, what you should not be publicizing, okay, because while supposedly in theory we do have freedom of speech, okay. However, when you are employed with a large organization, there are guidelines, okay, what to say and what not to say on social media. So I'm going to be discussing that. But before we get into the main topic, we're going to have another episode of In My Words. Now, what's been active in social media, particularly in TikTok, um, there was a situation in rehab facility, nursing home in Atlanta, where one of the patients unfortunately passed away due to alleged criminal circumstances. Um, it was alleged that the patient was neglected for an extended period of time. Uh, it was also alleged that the patient was an elderly lady in her 80s, that she was forced to lie in her feces, urine, the fact that it is alleged she did not receive the care she needs. They did not clean, they did not freshen her up. They did not clean her bed or whatever, tend to the services that she need. And there was thousands of complaints levied against the facility, to the point where the authorities moved in, and many as almost 20 of the staff, which consists of nursing assistants and a nurse, were arrested, okay, due to the level of neglect that it was alleged. Of course, I have to say alleged because we must bear in mind that individuals are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Okay. And also one thing it does highlight, one of the problems with many of the nursing homes, okay, they have a situation where they're chronically short on staff, um, to tend to the patients and the residents of the facility. So what happens is when you have patients residing there and they don't have loved ones that can advocate for their for their for their benefit and be their voice and what have you, they can easily fall prey to neglect. Okay, and this is of course a situation that you know I am aware of. I mean, I remember one time when I was doing inpatient rehab, when I had my left knee done for the first time. My mother was alive when they visited me. She visited some snacks and she noticed some of the patients were not eating. So, out of the kindness of my mother's heart, she gave the snacks that was meant to me to give to the other patients. Okay, um, and that is a serious problem. And when I was preparing for my revised knee replacement, um, the surgeon advised me not to go into inpatient rehab for the following reasons. Number one, the level of care. Um, he seemed to imply that the level of care provided are substandard. Number one. And number two, there is a risk of infection. Okay. One thing you have to bear in mind when you go through any type of elective surgery, okay, whether it be a hip replacement or a knee replacement or any type of joint replacement, you have to minimize the risk of infection because infections can easily spread. So if I come across any further information, I will share it. Okay, and of course tomorrow it is Christmas Eve. Okay, and of course many of us will be with um, our families, loved ones, and friends as we gather. Um, as far as for Christmas Eve dinner, we're together. We might listen to some music. We might have some libations. Um, and maybe gifts exchange. Okay, but in all this, let us not forget. There's going to be people that's going to be spending Christmas Eve away from loved ones. And I am referring to the men and women that serve in our armed forces, particularly the men and women who serve overseas. Okay, they're going to be thousands of miles away from their family and loved ones. And whenever you are away from loved ones during a holiday like Christmas or Hanukkah, it could be a very difficult time. It could be a very long time. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to please bear that in mind. Um, those of you who believe in prayer, uh, please keep these men and women who have volunteered to put their lives on hold for several years for the purpose of serving and defending our nation. Let's keep them in prayer. Also, we must bear in mind that there are people who are currently hospitalized uh, due to illness or due to surgery that's going to be spending Christmas Eve away from their loved ones. Let's bear that in mind. Also, we need to bear in mind again, while the holiday season is a happy time for many people, for some it's not. Okay, there are those who's going to be spending Christmas Eve alone. Okay, whether because of estrangement, whether or it could be that they're away from their loved ones. Okay. Also, we must bear in mind that the cases of depression and self-delusion are always on the rise during the holiday season, and that's due to multiple factors: illness, loneliness, um, death of loved ones, um, ending of a romantic relationship, economic downturn. These are many reasons why people are not in good spirits this holiday season. And sometimes people may lash out at others because they really don't know how to properly deal with all the stuff that they're going through. So, what I'm going to ask you to do is try to be a little bit understanding when it comes to these dear people. Okay, I'm not saying that it's a valid excuse for the way they act. I'm simply stating that there is a rationale as far as why people the way that they do act. Okay, that is what I'm saying. Okay, and it's very easy to be judgmental because we're not in their situation. Okay, so the saying, until you travel in a person's shoes, you should not make any judgments. Okay. And of course, this week's schedule is going to be a little different. Okay. Now, tomorrow night, probably about 7 o'clock, I will deliver a short Christmas Eve message um, to the uncommon folk, um, wishing them a wonderful and blissful Christmas holiday. Okay. Also, we must bear in mind that this Wednesday at sundown begins Hanukkah, which is the festival of lights. So I just want to wish a happy Hanukkah to all those of the uncommon folk who are members of the Jewish faith. Okay. So after tomorrow, when I do my brief Christmas Eve message, the next time I'll be live will be Thursday when I talk about Kwanzaa, and which is another holiday. It's more Afrocentric, but it is a popular holiday as well. So I will be sharing you my thoughts regarding Kwanzaa and what does that mean. And of course, this Friday, I will be doing my stream regarding open discussion, where I will discuss several topics and ask, and I'll give my opinion, and of course, the audience will have an opportunity to opine. Now, next week's schedule is going to be very similar to this week. Okay, meaning I'll be doing a stream Monday, Tuesday, which is New Year's Eve. I will not be live because I'm going to be out there partying. Okay, bringing in the new year with members of my union family. New Year's Eve day, I might spend it with family or things of that nature. Um, so most likely it's going to be Monday, Thursday, and Friday for next week. And then after that, uh, we will go back to our regular schedule. Okay, cool. Good evening, Dynamon. I'm glad to hear that you got your results. And let me just state for the record that Dynamon has his YouTube channel. So I'm going to ask that you show some love and you subscribe to his channel. Now, with that being said, we're going to get into the main topic. Now, before continue, let me just state for the record that the link to join the panel has been pinned. Should anyone wishes to hit the link and express their opinion regarding the topic in question, they can do so. Again, I need to specify this. If I have never seen you before, if I've never heard from you before, I will insist that you come up in the backstage to make sure that no one flashes anything inappropriate, which would cause the people of YouTube to take down their stream. Now, let's discuss the topic because you can't say that. Okay. Um, One of the things that's occurred is, of course, many of us are being active in social media, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Instagram, whether it be TikTok, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Snapchat, whether it be X or Blue Sky or Reddit. People are expressing their point of view. People are creating content. Okay. Now, what has happened is, and this has been covered in social media, where there have been individuals who have made comments in regards to their employers, in regards to their immediate supervisors, also sometimes sharing confidential information on TikTok, okay, which is which is a big problem, okay. Now, one thing we have noticed is that people have been losing their jobs regarding content that they air on TikTok. Now, some of you might say, well, first of all, it's freedom of speech. I should be able to say the fluff I want. Okay. Freedom of speech, okay, to an extent, yes and no. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. First of all, just because you have the freedom to express yourself on social media, it does not mean that you can bash your employer. It does not mean you can bash your supervisor. It does not mean that you can bash your colleagues. Okay. Now, many large organizations, whether it be Fortune 500 companies or municipal agencies, they don't have policy regarding social media. They also have policies regarding what content you can air and what content you cannot air. Okay. First of all, there's certain things you cannot do. Number one, you cannot share confidential information. Now, there have been situations where you have people, um, for whatever reason, have seen fit to air confidential information regarding the individuals that they serve. Okay. One thing we have to bear in mind, whenever anyone is dealing with the public, okay, whether it be myself as a municipal employee or whether it be a large employer, um, you are in fact a representative of the organization. Good evening, Dreadlock Diaries. Thank you very much for stopping by. And I want to let everybody know that my friend Kesha has her YouTube channels. One is Dreadlock Diaries, where she discusses her topic as far as tending to locks and how to take care of your locks and how to take care of your hair and what to do and what not to do. And also great NY Grapevine, where she talks about other issues. So I'm going to ask that you show some love and you subscribe to her channel and check out her content. Okay, so as I was saying, there have been individuals in some okay, a couple of cases where there were nurses and oh, thank you, Reza. Thank you very much for stopping by. You are without a doubt one of my best mods. Okay, I can definitely say that. I really appreciate that you see, that you showing um, Kesha's link, and of course, thank you very much for sharing the link to my channel as well. Without a doubt, Reza, you're one of my best mods. Okay, I'm so happy to have you as a mod. Okay. So there have been situations where there have been nurses where they share confidential patient information. So what happened is, first of all, you're sharing confidential information because you are violating a trust. Okay, whether you are a nurse or a doctor or you are a municipal employee like myself. Okay, we all have access to confidential information. Okay. And we can only use that information for specific purposes. Under no circumstances are we to go out there and share this information. Okay. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, whatever, oh, thank you, Kesha. Um, for whatever reason, they saw fit to share confidential information. And what you're doing is you're violating a trust and you're putting your employer in a very negative life. And you could be exposing your employer to some legal difficulties, some legal troubles. Okay. Also, there have been other cases where people have aired um, bizarre situations while employed, during their work duties. Okay, that's another note. When you are there with your employer, uh, you're there to do the tasks that are assigned to you. You're not there to create content. You're not there to the no content. You're definitely not there to comment regarding um, your employer. Okay. Also, you got to bear in mind that not only you should not be airing confidential information, you need to be mindful of what content that you air when you go out and socialize. Okay. Because there have been cases where individuals that never say anything regarding their employer, unfortunately, they were seen um, going out and they were seen in compromising situations where they had a little bit too much alcohol or they engage in questionable behavior. Good evening, Irby. Thank you very much for stopping by. So the topic for tonight is you can't say that. So basically, what I'm talking about when it comes to social media, there's certain things you can say and certain things you can't say. Okay, and there's certain things you should not air. Okay, because what happened is you put yourself in a naked night, you put your employer in a naked life. And there have been people have been terminated for doing that. Okay. They didn't say anything negative about their employer. They didn't say anything up negative about their colleagues. They didn't say anything negative regarding um, their supervisor. Unfortunately, they went out, they had a little bit too much to drink, or they engaged in some sort of questionable behavior. Okay, because even though you are doing this um, outside of work hours, the fact of the matter is what you say you'll do does reflect on your employer. Yeah. Okay. It does reflect. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a perfect example. Okay. I am a municipal employee. Okay. As a municipal employee, I am governed with certain rules and regulations. One of them is how to interact with my superiors, how to interact with my colleagues, how to interact with clients that I take that see. Also, when it comes to social media, what I can't say or what I can't say. I don't know if you notice, I don't even mention the name of the agency I employed. Okay, there is a reason why. It's been my experience that it's better to say very little or nothing at all. Yeah, so yeah, that's true. That you have to be careful who you share your private hobbies with. Exactly, exactly. So, as a municipal employee, okay, I have to be mindful. I cannot say anything negative about my employer. I cannot say anything about my supervisor. I cannot say anything regarding my manager. I can't say anything regarding my colleagues. I cannot say anything regarding the clients that I serve. And I definitely cannot share confidential information. And if for whatever reason, if I'm out, oh no, out enjoying myself, and I get into a confrontation, and I decide for whatever to air uh, that would not reflect well on me. That would not reflect well on my employer. Okay, and I can be disciplined for that. But you do this is activity after workouts. Yes, it is activity after workouts, but it doesn't mean it doesn't mean that I'm gonna act like a complete jackass and then videotape myself and loading it on social media. And one thing we have to understand, one thing we have to bear in mind is that anything that gets posted on social media stays in the internet forever. Even if you at some point decide to delete the content, okay, there's always going to be someone that's going to record, that's going to take screenshots, and they can just as easily report that to your employer. Okay, so to avoid all that, now I see here we have a guest. So let me just state for the record that the views of those who appear on the panel are not necessarily those of the host on the channel. Any attempt to copy the material without the consent of the host is prohibited. By appearing on the call, you waive your rights to image. Some of the views that people hold may be considered offensive to some viewers. If you do not like the content, you can block the channel. Good evening. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Good evening, Jose. How's everyone doing?
Oh, fine. I am rejoicing in this beautiful light winter weather that we're having.
Oh no, it's too cold. It's really cold. It was like 16 degrees today.
Your point being,
I don't like this weather, but how are you, Miss Jumping on your channel?
thank you. I'm doing fine, thank you. I'm just discussing what you cannot say or do on social media. So, I mean, because people think there's freedom, they're freedom, freedom of press. However, there are certain restrictions.
Absolutely. And I definitely hit the link to your channel because I definitely went through that at a municipal job where I never said anything disrespectful or negative, but I posted some pictures in the environment and I was definitely, called into the office and told to delete my content and make my account private. So I just, I was a municipal employee, so I know how that goes. And Yes, like your personal life is your professional life. Like if you have one, you got.
Okay. 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 Can you unmute?
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just pretty much saying that, I was a municipal employee and that happened to me. I didn't post anything about the job itself, but was called in the office regarding posting on the job environment. And I was eventually like terminated from the position for a whole bunch of other reasons as well. And it was just crazy because I never said anything about the job at all. I just like posted pictures like in the bathroom or
Okay.
had anything to do with.
So, yeah. So, what I'd say, would you say that's pretty accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Which is why I'm very cautious regarding what I air and what I say on social media.
Yeah, you really can't share anything. You really can't say much because you never know who's watching.
Exactly.
It's better just
Exactly.
to not even tell people you have social media because even the people who you think will be your friends can tell on you, and it can be nothing, so you just can't even talk about it.
Yeah. Well, just to cite an example. Now, there is a person that's been blowing up TikTok lately, called Cooking with Kaya, and apparently some of the ladies have gotten upset with her because she has that cute little intro, cooking with Kaya, cooking with Kaya. So she's cooking, she's doing a little twerking, and talking about, well, I can see your man.
I definitely saw some videos of her cooking with the rapper DDG, who had a baby with the actress and singer Haley Bailey, Holly Bailey. So I don't really know much about the Cooking with Kaya girl, but I did see a lot of people talking negatively about their cooking show together, or their cooking YouTube videos negatively.
Yeah. Well, well, I mean, if you watch TikTok, I mean, there's been a lot of chatter regarding this Kaya person. She's a young African American woman. She looks like she's in her early 20s. I mean, she's beautiful. She's young. Basically, what she's doing, she's teaching people how to cook, and she does a little bouncy, a little twerking, whatever. Fully clothed, mind you, but it's just that some people have created a lot of hate towards her.
I definitely get that. I've really been watching other YouTube drama. I don't know if you heard about the Remy Ma and Papoose drama. I've been really all entertained with that. I don't know if you heard about that information. I've been all into that though.
Vaguely. I mean, don't. I try not to watch that because I mean to watch famous people going on with stuff that that they should not be discussing on public. I mean, but then again, that's how they want to. That's how they want to flow. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I only started paying more attention once I realized that the girl Papoose is allegedly dating has a movie coming out featuring a R&B singer named I think Destiny Ryan, and I followed
Okay.
that actress before, so I'm like, wow, this is really getting juicy. But respectfully, I understand why you're saying what you're saying. I understand.
Yes. Good evening, Ramon. Happy holidays. The topic for tonight is you can't say that. So basically, what I'm talking about, being mindful of what you can't say or air on social media.
Yeah, but I think it's just crazy though. I think that the job should not have anything to do with what you're saying on social media unless again you're physically putting your employees and someone at danger. If you're posting a picture with your morning coffee, outside on the street and no one can see the address to the building, I don't think it should be a big deal.
But what's the problem? The problem is when you have individuals that are posting images at work, whether whether it's just simply talking or twerking, what have you, um, or you could be you know you're off to the hours, and unfortunately you get into a situation when you get into some sort of a conflict, and then for whatever reason you see fit to air that conflict on social media, and it does not reflect well on the employer.
I definitely understand that, and I think with maturity, some of us understand that. I feel like some of us just don't give a f, regardless of maturity or not, and just feel bitter, or in our generational trauma that we just feel like life is just only happening to us. But again, the work culture is changing. So what can we do?
That is true. I mean, look, I'll say this much. um, I would say that the work culture has changed within the last 20 to 25 years.
Yeah, I remember a time in like the late 80s and early 90s where people were allowed to smoke in office buildings in the city, and that work culture is no longer in existence. So things are definitely changing. I almost cut off for a second accidentally. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I was having some technical difficulties before I was coming on live. Yeah, but there's been a lot of changes in the work environment, and believe it or not, I actually have an office life.
Yeah, you see, that's different now. Like now there's work group challenges where people work out together and do Fitbit steps, and the group that makes the most steps, get prizes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? And to be perfectly honest, that's like a new situation for me because I mean, I've gone through most of my working career. So, and I didn't even know what was a work spouse to begin with. I mean, someone have to explain it to me what it is.
Yeah, I think that's so cute. I was recently at my cousin's 50th birthday party, and she's married, and her work husband came to her 50th birthday party. And I thought it would be such an awkward thing, but it wasn't because obviously the work husband and the real husband know each other in real life. But I'm like, wow, so work husbands and work wives are universal. Everybody somewhere in some state has a work husband or work wife. They just may not know it yet.
Yeah. Well, the reality is this. I mean, there's a lot of things that I knew that we didn't know, didn't experience, and sometimes, we have to adapt to a changing environment, and also we have to be mindful of the fact that you can't get away by calling someone babe or honey or whatever you. I mean, nowadays, if if you say if you call a female, if you say to a female colleague that she looks beautiful, I mean that could be grounds for sexual harassment.
Very true. Just like work from home. I don't think they had work from home in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. Or if they did, they didn't happen for everyone.
No.
And a- again, sexual harassment like that has changed over time because we know a lot of people that were married and dating in high positions together and were sharing the wealth of bringing in who they wanted at the workforce, and all those rules and stuff came into place to change that up too.
Yeah. I just want to acknowledge, Kishal, that your YouTube hubby is in the chat. Good evening, 18th letter.
Good evening. I'm not even logged into the chat, so I can't even see it. Good evening. Thank you
No,
guys
it's
who are in the
okay.
chat watching. I gotta sign into YouTube to see the chat.
Okay, well, I can see it. So, and I see it's very active tonight. I really appreciate all the people viewing. I didn't think it'd be this popular.
I saw you online. My hubby went to bed early. My daughter's in the room sleeping. I'm like, okay, I did a lot today. I got some free time. Let me see what's going on your channel. And I like what you was talking about. When you started talking about the work thing, and you can't say that because again, I feel like I definitely lost my job for speaking my mind and doing some things that I thought I wasn't harming anyone for. But it is what it is. We all go through some kind of negativity, and it makes us better. And I got a job now making almost $15,000 more than I had then. So God is good. I'm grateful. I'm humble, and stay prayed up and not worry about what I had and focus on what's in front of me.
Okay. So, if you can share, if you have anything that you wish to say when it comes to social media and what not to say or what not to air, what will be your words of wisdom?
My words of wisdom would be if anyone has a city job or a job where they're checking your social media, make a dummy account where no one knows it's you. Don't post any pictures of yourself, post memes all day. Don't ever post anything about you that anyone can identify you or link you to anyone else. Have a profile like that or have a completely private profile where only people who you can allow to watch what you're posting. If not, I would just not even do it. I would not post during work hours. I would not post during work locations because there are some great high paying jobs out here that will snatch the job for you just because you posted something in the 50, 25-yard vicinity of the building. That may not have anything to do with anything, but it could be you. It's not worth losing your job over a comment on social media. It's not.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Take it from me. Don't do it. I was unemployed over a year after all of that social media crap at work where I said nothing negative. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
Well, so you can understand and appreciate the fact that I don't mention anything regarding the agency that I'm employed with. I mean, and rarely do I mention that I'm a municipal employee.
Yes, earlier on, I didn't understand so much, but now being a temp and being at different city agencies, I see the culture at every agency, every borough is different. And what happens in the Bronx doesn't happen in Brooklyn. What happens in Brooklyn don't happen in Queens. What happens in Queens will work in Staten Island. So you never know what you're getting yourself into. So you can't risk saying, oh, I got 5, 10 years experience with the city. I know what it is. No, you do not know what it is. Another agency, another.
Um, there's a question being raised. Did someone report you to your employer?
I definitely believe my office mate reported me to my employer. I definitely think it was my office mate because she was constantly complimenting me every Monday morning about seeing my weekend posts about my weekend and my stories. And I didn't accept her as a friend, but I had a public open profile where anyone could view my content. And I definitely think, she was viewing my content regularly to the point where she had evidence on me as far as,
Yeah. Well, of course, of course, of course, my situation is different in the sense that first of all, my employment was secure through civil service. I actually took a civil service exam and I passed probation. So I mean, another thing that that did not help is that you did not have some of the protections that other municipal employees had and enjoy.
Yes, and that's very important to know and understand. For me, I did not understand the importance of taking a city exam waiting for a list number, getting called off the list to become permanent. In my situation, I bought a newspaper called The Chief that's found in New York City. It comes out every Wednesday or Thursday, and it has a lot of city and state and federal jobs. I saw a job, I put in a resume and a cover letter. 3 months later, they called me. I worked provisionally in a type.
Yeah. And that's something, okay. And even though that my position is more secure, being that it's through civil service, I'm not going to risk it by creating content during work hours. I'm definitely not going to mention anything that will put my employer in a negative life, and I'm definitely not going to on my off duty hours um, air me with questionable language or questionable actions because if the situation where I get involved and I have and I experience some legal difficulties, um, that will that will post negatively on my employer.
That's accurate. And the agency did explain that to me when they counseled me at the time that they became aware of my social media content, and I immediately made my all of my social media profiles I had from YouTube to TikTok. I made everything private. I even started deleting videos and deleting channels altogether because I wasn't sure specifically what was being targeted or flagged, and I wanted, to keep the job and not have my content subscriber life interfere. So I definitely made a lot of changes, and I still end up losing the job behind it. And I definitely think the social media thing has something to do with it. I think that weighed heavily despite them not saying that specifically in the end.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, you are among hundreds of individuals that had lost your employment uh, due to um, producing content on social media.
And it's a real thing, again, if you're an entrepreneur, you work for the federal government or the state, even they're watching too. It's just depending on what you're putting up there. Depending on what you're putting up there, it's calling flags. So if you're working with sensitive information or, private information or top notch security information, yes, you in which you post may be triggering to hackers and criminals and, yada, 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 yada. But as a content creator, you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about your goal, your algorithm, your audience, being different, being creative, and you're probably trying to see what's going to work, what's not going to work. So, lesson learned for me, to this day, I no longer accept any friends I work with on social media at all. It's my new rule. If I have a job from now on into the future, I'm not accepting any friends from any employers ever again.
Okay. Actually, Wisdom's bring up a point. It's good to read up on the Hatch Act that what corporate employers use. Basically, don't talk politics. Your hair care videos are good, or you're talking about stuff that's not political. Um, it's just that there's certain topics where I would not get into. Some of them it can be very controversial. Also, not everyone can discuss those topics in a mature way.
I mean, now that I can look back, now that I have grace, now that I'm no longer emotional, bitchy or in my feelings, I can see some points they had. I was posting, regular, sensitive, non sensitive information in top notch, high security places where ISIS was, where, DA's offices and state government buildings were, and I wasn't thinking about that at the time. So, again, I understand now. At the time, I
Okay. You seem to be having some technical difficulties on your audio.
okay, I don't sound good.
No, you cut off a little bit.
Oh, okay. I was just saying that, looking back now, I can see that there were some videos I posted in highly confidential or top notch security or high controversial geographical locations that, I guess now looking back, I can see how my videos were targeted. Buildings where, federal government's dealing with, migration and deportation and things like that. So looking back at it now, I can see, why they did what they had to do. But I think there could have been some levels of it. It could have been a soft warning, then a write up, then a verbal, then a fire, versus it going from 0 to 1,000.
Well, I think part of the problem is that with different municipal agencies, the different policies and there's different interpretations regarding how they perceive to be inappropriate content or inappropriate behavior posted on social media.
Right, because mind you, a lot of the videos I were posting was me getting a new fresh hairstyle, me getting a new outfit to work, or me trying a new lipstick or mascara. It wasn't, controversial topic videos about, you know, presidency or politics. But at the time, there were times I did that, but not at the job that let me go. So it's like hit and
Mhm.
miss. You just got to be prepared. You don't know which agency is going to be stronger or firmer or
Yeah. Let me just read this comment. The thing that with the Hatch Act, they can terminate right away the policies that made a lot of people lose their work. Right now, the tech jobs are having a big purge, which they're using too. Okay. Um, the fact again and again, different agency had different the different policies. Okay, and I can say that this much when it comes to the agency which I am employed. Okay, I mean there's policies regarding how they interact with clients and how they interact with others. There's policies regarding social media, and of course there's policies regarding um, using city resources for city purposes.
Yeah, there's policies on all those things, but honestly speaking, like let's keep it real. Like how many of us read all those fine prints? A lot of us don't, and yes, that's our fault for not reading the fine print or the small advertisement at the bottom of the commercial or of the prescription bottle. So again, I have to take accountability for the part I played in it. But again, just like the C-19 thing, there's people saying they got lawsuits now because they were fired unlawfully. So they'll always make an example out of somebody. That's what I think it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm one of those rare individuals that I will read certain policies on a regular basis. One of them, of course, is the code of conduct. Okay, certain policies regarding how to keep the desk neat and things of that nature. Um, but we're living in a world where that anything that we post, even if we delete it, uh, once it enters the internet, it stays there because people can screenshot it and people can record it.
That's true. Like that's the reason why I don't post my partner that much, honestly speaking, because I feel like people get kind of weird with certain things. Like not that me and you are big content creators with a point where people are like screenshotting our stuff, but there's still some weirdos out there that when you post those intimate personal photos. People are screenshotting and making memes out of it and like being like silly or whatever the case is. So like you gotta protect your peace at the same time as well because once it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah, yeah, and I actually it was just recently. There was one content creator on YouTube that, for reasons um, unknown to me, this person actually aired some content where the spouse was engaged in questionable conduct with someone of the opposite sex, and that they were airing this content out in the public. And unfortunately, the problem is when you put your business out there, you make yourself susceptible to your haters. Okay, and there's certain things that should not be discussed in social media. If you're having issues with your significant other, um, there's no need to air that on any platform.
I agree, and that's why Cardi B is getting so much flock and she's losing so many subscribers and followers because people are so tired of hearing her Offset being off again, on again, off again, on again. Although it sounds like she's really for real this time, but she put us all in her business, from day one with Love and Hip Hop and her being a stripper, and to us just knowing her every life, and now it's like every time she goes through something, her and the many others we're all in it for the tea. And when we don't get the tea, we're like, well, why did you do that?
Oh, okay. Um, when it comes to certain individuals who are performers, I mean, I guess the reason why they air questionable content so people can recognize them, because even bad press is better than no press at all. It's just that I could not be spending any length of time airing any of my dirty linen out for the public for everyone to see.
Yeah, I feel like, we definitely make mistakes, but some of us have morals and values, and we're just never going to stoop too low and do certain things because it's just not in our character. So some of us, we're just not going to produce certain things because that's just not how we get down. And some people just like whatever for the numbers, whatever for the subscribers, whatever for the data.
Yeah, I mean that is the reality that some people. I mean, they look at bad press as any as good press because that means people are aware that they are out there, that they exist. The problem is, it does not create foster all of the goodwill.
It doesn't again, and some of the things that you and I talked about off no off subject when you haven't seen me on YouTube and you keep me updated is like it's just not worth it for those reasons either. Like people take this too far sometimes, and it's not necessary.
Yes, I mean another issue is you have certain individuals that will post confidential information regarding others, because they have beef with them, or they'll make threats about getting your employment terminated. There was this one individual that threatened to have me terminated from my job, which is, I mean, considering I did not say anything regarding the individual in question, but it's just a simple case that that person had issues with me simply because of the people that I choose to hang with.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's kind of like when you were a kid and your friend doesn't like someone, so now you don't talk to that person because your friend don't like them. Like it's that immaturity level for some people at some point, or you just want to be a moody person. I want to speak when you feel like speaking, then you don't want to speak. You don't want to feel like speaking. Like keep it consistent. What are we doing here?
Yeah. I mean, look, that's why I refer to those individuals as the circus because they act like a bunch of clowns. Or lately, I've been using the term the soup because basically they're lost. Unfortunately, you have certain um, individuals on these platforms that wish to create havoc. They try to dox, they try to threaten simply because they have beats with, no, not even beats with you, but beats with the people that you choose to hang with.
Yeah, it's very immature in my opinion. But again, there's a whole community out here on YouTube, and it's like you got to learn the lingo, the do's, the don'ts, the avenues. So when you're freshly new out here, or you haven't been in a lot of cliques and clubs, like you gotta like learn as you go along. Like that's the best I can say about it. Like I've learned a lot with you and your team and all the people I met through you, and I've seen a lot of people go through ups and downs and battles, including you and me and other people. So it's like only the strongest survive.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I have said before, um, anyone that's seriously thinking about creating content, first of all, you're going to have that thick skin because people are going to take shots at you. Uh, Also, you have to be able to, you know, keep calm when people are saying all sorts of ish about you. And I mean, some of the stuff that people have accused me of, you know, it's laughable.
Yeah, it just goes to show you how people can go to the extreme just to try to prove their point, and they don't want to do research and data. But you got to do research and data up here. Like YouTube knows when you're doing research and when you're not doing research. When you're just talking smoke. So it may
Yeah,
get a couple views and spins for a short time, but that's about it.
yeah. I mean, look, just to give you an idea of some of the rhetoric that's been levied against me. I have an STD. I don't practice dental hygiene. I'm broke. I'm lonely. I'm a racist. No one loves me. Um, I'm a self hating white Latino. And I'm senile.
First off, I'm pretty sure there's nobody you have sexual intercourse up here following you and stalking your page. So at the end of the day, people just really reaching. Because how would people know those personal information like that? Ain't no hackers, scammers up here. Yeah, people trying to dox people with their address, but ain't no hackers out here, scammers out here that know that kind of personal information. So, chuck a deuce.
Well, all I can say to those individuals, bless their hearts because they need prayer because people who do not know anything about me seem to be the loudest one to complain.
I mean, not for nothing, I haven't been, catching up with you lately, but the last time I checked, you were talking a lot about your significant other. So, maybe people mad at home that they ain't got a significant other and you do, and yours comes to fly out and y'all do what y'all do. And there's probably someone really clinging on to all of your stories, all of your lives, everything you're talking about, and they're jealous and, they're just revved up off of that. And that sounds so crazy, but people judge without knowing us.
Okay, well, you know what? If these individuals would spend a little time and use what little gray matter that they have, what they would do is first of all deal with whatever trauma that they have in their lives. Okay, uh, get therapy. Okay, so therefore, when they do decide to pursue someone of the opposite sex or even the same sex, that they're not bringing any emotional luggage into their new relationship.
Right. Like I can't imagine like, actually knowing someone here on YouTube and like, personally like, knowing them as a constant creator, possibly dating them and then they like trying to backstab me. Like that sounds like an anxiety, that sounds like a panic attack, that sounds like a stalker all in one. Like that's just way too much.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, like I said, unfortunately, there have been certain individuals that have felt the need to to exit themselves from this platform because, unfortunately, I mean, no one wants to be exposed to the fluffery. I mean, no one wants to be exposed to the ish. And for this is a hobby for many of us. I mean, none of us are huge uh, content creators. Um, I think you're close to like 900 subs on your main channel. I'm far away from 500. So this is a labor of love for us.
Absolutely, like again, of course we wanted it, expeditiously, but again, getting it the way we're getting it, we're learning core values, we're learning rules, we're learning steps, we're learning experiences, we're learning trial and error. So we have more under the belt. We didn't become an instant, one night wonder sensation.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Which is why I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it again. If it was left up to me, uh, anyone that's seriously considering creating content will need to undergo a psychological evaluation because the problem is you have individuals that are hurt, and you know the saying, hurt people. So now with these platforms, they have a voice, they have an opportunity to spread their ish for people to consume.
That's true. I was just talking to my partner the other day too about the holiday blues. Not to change the subject too much, and how everyone's not happy for the holidays, and some people are just in funky moods, or some people are not givers, and like the holidays are what you make it, and we can't even expect certain people to like show up on the holidays or expect gifts, and sometimes we gotta give without expecting anything in return because everyone's going through a situation right now, not even for the holidays, but just
Yeah. Well, I have discussed that previously on this platform. Okay, is that you have certain individuals that have unrealistic expectations on what they're looking for, as far as the holiday season and things of that nature, and you have people that are depressed. You also have people that have thought about self deletion, and there's many factors for many of the people that they lost loved ones. There are people that have ended romantic relationships. There have been people that lost jobs. There are people that became seriously ill. There are people that have come across some negative experiences, which has done a lot to kill their joy.
yeah, it's true. Like I remember having a confrontation with a relative about who I voted for the presidential election. I just see so many people just so burnt out and stressed out and short patient and with so many side effects from what's been going on in life. These last 5 years. It's a lot on people. Everyone is not into the holiday spirit.
Yeah.
Some
I
people are
mean,
just pissed
look,
off.
yeah. I mean, look, one thing that's a negative consequences regarding this election is that people are severing ties with others simply because of who they voted for. And I've also discussed that on this platform as well. And one thing that they're losing sight of, tomorrow is not promised to anybody. Okay. What if, God forbid, you decide to cut off someone or end a marriage or end a relationship or a friendship simply because you had a disagreement regarding who should occupy 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? And what if, God forbid, that person passed away? So that means you got to go through the rest of your life knowing that you had some sort of beef that you were unable to resolve. And the guilt involved, it could be unbearable.
Yeah, it's true. Like, not for nothing. Me and my sister, we haven't been on the best terms in a while. Like, we speak, but we are not where we should be. I'm going to say that as a big sister. And it's like, sometimes I think, like, oh, screw that. I feel how I feel. The other time I think, like, you know what, Kishel? We just lost grandma in June. Life ain't promised to nobody. Put that BS to the side.
Unfortunately, you have certain individuals that are unable to discuss politics while getting emotional. And one of the things is that people have made light of the fact regarding the Trump supporters, how they are monsters, how they're evil, how they do not uh, allow dissent. Lo and behold, I mean, for the last 4 to 5, no, month, almost a month and a half, there have been a lot of content by individuals having complete meltdown because Trump won.
Yeah, it's I'm not gonna say it's crazy. I feel like, we expect it to be sides, it's always who you're voting for, but it's never been this intense and thick with tension, I feel, in my opinion. But yeah, like when I came to work after the presidential debate, I was told by my supervisor immediately to not express anything to anybody about who I voted for because they were sensitive people in the office.
Well, I remember last month I went to San Diego. I was attending a conference, and it just so happens I had a roommate that was a Trump supporter. And as I said, look, I'm happy your guy won, but can we just like reduce some of the rhetoric when in our rooms and just simply acknowledge the fact that Trump did a better job illustrating why he should occupy 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and Kamala Harris just did not do a good job.
I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like everyone's gonna always have their opinion about who did a better job, and we get that, but you know, every both candidates made some distasteful choices. We'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, look, we made our decisions regarding who we supported, and we stuck by our decisions. Okay. The difference is we are able to be agreeable when we disagree.
Absolutely, that's the difference. I feel like I see now why other countries look at America as a joke. Like I'm about to start watching news in other countries to see what they say about America, because our news don't tell us nothing.
Well, and of course, now there's been a lot of concern regarding how things are going to be done within the next 4 years. I mean, there is a lot of unknowns. First of all, what's the situation with the migrants? What's the situation with Social Security? What's the situation regarding bills and things of that nature? It can be a
Congestion prices. This is going to be horrible for us, Jose. Even though we don't drive to work, this is going to be bad for us.
yeah, it is. And particularly in my case, since I use accessory, or as I like to call it, stressoride, because due to the fact
That's
that I've
cute.
been,
Stress and ride. That's so cute. I never heard anybody say that before. Stress and ride. That's cute.
well, I mean, look, let me tell you something. I think the name is appropriate. I mean, I can share with you stories for hours. Uh, Drivers that don't speak English or Spanish, passengers who act like Karens, uh,
But you still
drivers.
need them, so we can't talk about them. You still need them, so we can't talk about them. When you don't need them, then we can talk about them.
You know what? I have talked about it, and I will continue to talk about it. I mean, but look, the reality is this: um, when it comes to social media, okay, you need to bear bear in mind the following items. First of all, whatever you post will stay in the internet forever.
Forever, ever.
Oh, I see. 16% Spaniard. Oh boy, I can see the Hispano types are gonna be angry with you about that.
I just bought my daughter
And
an ancestry
69%
DNA kit.
African.
She wants to know her ancestry, so hopefully she finds out all her little nationalities and her little blood or her DNA.
Yeah. Well, while you're here, would you like to share a little bit regarding your platform on Dreadlock Diaries?
Of course, thank you. So, Dreadlock Diaries is a channel that I created during C-19 pandemic phases when we were all stuck in the house on curfew, and I just decided to share my dreadlock story from day one to now approaching 5 years locked. So on that channel, you'll see me doing my own washes, professional retwists, specific products I'm buying from certain stores, the great beneficial no sulfates, no paraben, products that keep your hair healthy and looking luxurious. I talk about my experience with bleach and dye and stripping my hair to a bleach blonde platinum color. So it's all about, the do's and don'ts, the hair cares of dreadlocks in my experience. And I love it. I'll be 5 years locked on June 1st of 2025. And it's been a lot of mistakes, trials and errors, but I don't regret it. And I love to produce content. I love to do the short videos there. And I definitely have to do some long form videos just to meet that mark with YouTube. But I definitely enjoy, posting content there, just sharing my story on locks because there's a lot of free spirited people that just want to have their hair locked. So if they can hear anything I can say and it can help them, I'm here for it. And that's Dreadlock Diaries. Thank you guys.
Um, would you like to share briefly what led you to get involved um, with the dreadlocks? Um, I'm sure that it had an interesting story behind that.
Absolutely. So despite, people may be thinking I'm a super girly person. I definitely am lazy and I worked out a lot for those people who knew me in my K Fit lifestyle brand. But I definitely got tired of, getting a weave, getting braids, getting a perm, getting a cut, paying someone to do this, and I definitely wanted to treat and revive my hair. My hair was fried, it was unhealthy, it was damaged, and I really wanted to get that hair grade and texture of what I had as a child, as a young adult. And when I realized I couldn't get that, and I stressed my hair out from all the playing with it, I said, you know what? The best thing I can do for myself and not stress myself and pay a lot of money is to lock my hair. to let it do what it do without worrying about a.
Yeah. And I believe you also have another channel as well. Would you like to share about it briefly?
Yes, I also have another channel. It's called at NY Grapevine. On that channel, I can really be my authentic, genuine self. I talk about funny videos, celebrity gossip, unboxing reviews, skits, and things of that nature. I recently posted a video of Idris Elba and his wife, Sabrina Elba, and it got over like 30,000 views in like a month. It's still calculating. So I love that channel. It's nothing about hair, it's everything else, everything. And I don't want to be.
Okay, you just broke.
I'm sorry, it was called NY Grapevine. Everything non hair, all celebrity, unboxing reviews, authentic me.
Okay. Well, it's good to know. And one thing I would encourage anyone who have not done so, please check out her platforms. Um, but get returning to the topic. The fact of the matter is, yes, you can say or air whatever you want, but the problem is you have to have a certain amount of wisdom involved and realize there's certain content that it's better not to air.
Yeah, that's true. Like I try to stay away from the content about children with locks. I try to stay away from the celebrities with locks kind of things, the things that I'm afraid I may be getting a strike for or possibly copywritten for. Because you never know what's gonna trigger YouTube, You can have the best ideas and put up fair use and still get flagged.
Yeah, you know what? It could be a challenge. It seems like at times the enforcement of the guidelines could be selective. Would you say that's the case?
Absolutely. There's people that can play music and get no strikes throughout the whole stream. There's other people, their stream will go block immediately.
Yeah, that is very true. That is true, and it's just that there's certain content under no circumstances would I publish.
Yeah, that's true. I think, the intimate things need to stay intimate, or the things that come off too risque or too maybe triggering are things to stay away from.
Yes, and also there's certain things that you have to safeguard. For example, I always make it a point that if I never seen you before, if I never heard from you before, I will insist that you come up in the backstage because if not, you can have some individuals that can flash something when it comes to genitalia, which could cause the people of YouTube to take down the stream.
Yeah, that's so weird. I remember having my first few exposures. I'm like, dude, like, why are you just doing that? Like we're live right now. Everyone sees you. Like, I don't understand. Like, you're not getting my attention. You're getting all of my viewers' attention. Like, you're a creep.
Well, unfortunately, we have certain individuals that, in their way of thinking, feel the need to show genitalia.
Just always been weird to me. I just never got that. Like, it has nothing to do with the package or anything like that. It's just like, why? Like, you want to ruin my life? You want to show your package? You want to distract me? You want to implant a virus or something? What is the goal?
Well, look. Let's keep it real. You have a partner, so if you want to see someone's package, you're going to see your partner's package.
Exactly. So I'm like, I mean, at least on YouTube and StreamYard, we have the option, even if you're an unpaid person that don't have a specific membership, we have a free account. At least they give us the option to, keep them on the backstage and they don't just pop up spontaneously and mess up our streams.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's certain things, there's certain safeguards that I do. One of them, anyone new, they're gonna have to camp on the backstage before I let them on the panel. Another one is I'll put the stream in subscriber mode, meaning if you're not a subscriber, you need to subscribe in order to comment. So that, in a way, also helps to create, to add subs to your channel.
Okay, I see you do that a lot. I was wondering why.
Well, part of it is to keep the circus from acting like a bunch of clowns and enter inappropriate content. So that's part of the reason why. At least that way, with the subscriber mode, if you want to enter your negative comments, you're gonna have to subscribe to the channel.
Respectfully, if not, then you have no good intentions being here.
Exactly. Okay. And of course, I haven't had too many situations, but there've been times I have to remove people from the panel because they did not respect the guidelines. They did not. They chose to be combative with me, or be combative with anyone on the panel or on the chat.
Yeah, that happens time to time. That's unfortunate. But you guys, what you gotta do to protect your brand.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, and it only takes one individual um, who's so impressed with their package that they got to share it, and then it drive the people of YouTube to take down the stream.
Yep. I wanted to ask you, did you see the Mike Tyson and Paul Taylor fight? Was that the guy's name?
No, I did. I
Paul.
don't watch boxing.
Okay. Did you catch the Jamie Foxx Netflix special? What had happened
No,
was,
no, I did not.
okay. I had saw both of those. I was interested in to know what your feedback may be. Um, I don't know if you know Jamie Foxx. People saying that Jamie Foxx was allegedly drugged by allegedly P Diddy, and people thought this Netflix special was gonna have Jamie Foxx explain what happened to him with P Diddy allegedly.
Okay, when it comes to P Diddy, okay, I'm gonna say this. Okay, he has a lot of accusations that are serious. Okay, um, and if found guilty, um, he's going to spend a lot of time in prison. But the problem is, in the prison culture, if you're the type of person that that you as a child or a female or even a person that's physically disabled, I would not like your chances, remaining, unmarked in prison.
It's so much, I feel like the general public don't really know what's really happening as far as his specific charges. I feel like, in a way, we're just all been, like overwhelmed with the Cassie beating and the victims coming out. But I heard that this has a lot to do with a lawsuit that he put out on the people he has a Ciroc partnership with, and that's how this really originally started. And like, they pretty much,
Yeah. Well,
would be targeted for this instead.
well, like I said before, uh, the accusations are serious. Okay, and of course that's why it's called alleged, because we don't know if that's true. But if if if
Yeah.
what if what he did alleged is true, and he does end up with prison time, I would not want to be in his position in any way, shape, or form.
Especially the jail they got him in. They got him in the Brooklyn Detention Center. That's the worst.
I mean, and you know what happens to inmates who are who are in there because of an essay charge, whether it be children or elderly, whatever, they don't last too long.
I heard they said he was on suicide watch at one point. I don't know if those is just false allegations for views or not though.
Well, in all fairness, I think there's certain aspect about this case we will never know.
Yeah, this is definitely top notch security, like personal sensitive information with this case.
Yeah. So,
Well, I'm gonna step down, Jose. It was nice chatting with you. Thank you for letting me join you for a few.
well, thank you very much, and of course, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and of course, belated Happy first day of winter.
No! Forget winter, but yeah, I know you love this. So go roll in the snow, make a snowman, make a snow angel, go crazy, do what you want.
I mean, I actually did a stream on Saturday night talking about celebrating the first day of winter.
Not for nothing, the kids love it, I think the kids, like the little younger kids, they're hoping for snow on Christmas Day and they want to do sledding and snowball fights. And even my oldest daughter, she's like, Mom, let's go to a ski resort. I'm like, girl, like that's not like money, but I think the kids are into the snow. They're really excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, it. I mean, I guess, I guess it has. I mean, the fact you see the snow falling down, and then it falls down to the ground, um, and then they make snow angels and things like that. It does bring out the kid in you.
Yeah, for me, I just don't like when it's like frigid. I don't mind the snow. I just don't like when it's like frigidly cold though. Like I'm okay with the snow, but if it's like 10 degrees, I can't. I just cannot. Like it could be snowing, but if it's like 10 degrees, I just can't do.
Well, you know me. I mean, technically, 10 degrees. That's like light winter for me.
I know you're the man waiting for a negative zero. That's what you're waiting for. That's when
Oh,
you're like, that's when
yeah.
you're gonna be outside with your t-shirt on, like, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
I actually posted a little video on social media, something like, "It's beginning to feel a little like winter, and I love the cold. It is something to behold. It's good as gold. I truly love the cold. It's getting to feel a little like winter, and I'm happy. And I'll be filled with glee when it goes down to -3 for you and me."
Oh my gosh, I hope you enjoy this winter. It just started, so we can tell you're gonna have the winter of your life. It's gonna be like probably negative degrees all winter because it's only December. We already had 10 degrees, 16 degrees today, so you're gonna get everything you asked for this winter. You're lucky.
Oh, well, what can I say? What can I say? But in any case, thank you very much for stopping by and happy holidays.
Hey, shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody who was in the comments. I missed you. I'm sorry. Hope you guys have a great Christmas and a happy New Year. Good
Okay, thank
night.
you. Happy holidays. So, at this point, I think I'm going to stop to wrap this up. I don't know if anyone else is going to hit the link and talk about this the topic briefly. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, when it comes to social media, I mean, it can be used in a positive way. It can also be used in a negative way. Okay. And the fact of the matter is, when you are an employee for a large organization, whether it be a huge company or citywide. Agency. And I see here we have another guest. Good evening, Donovan.
Good evening. How you doing?
We're fine. Happy holidays.
Huh?
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
So, what's your thoughts regarding the topic?
Well, I guess social media, I guess you have to be careful. Like, me, as you know, I got doxxed. But then, thank God, I guess that's not a thing right now, doing my current situation, whatnot. But the thing is, though, is that now you got certain people who will try just to make a false narrative, and even will try to get a person into jail over those false narratives. So you have to be very careful with that.
Yes. Mhm. Well, good evening, Randall. Thank you very much for stopping by. And of course, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and happy belated first day of winter.
Yay.
But now, okay, and it looks like we just lost Don Armando. Okay, but in any case, when it comes to social media, the fact of the matter is you have to be mindful uh, what you say or what you post. Because the fact of the matter is, um,
Yeah, I'm
go
back.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I was saying that, with all that said, because, a lot of people are being, being fed false narratives about people and stuff. And, some of our compatriots, they've been victims of doxing or whatsoever. So my thing is that now that we have to be super careful because you got certain people who they're just demented and they just want to paint a false narrative, all just because we have an opinion different from theirs.
yeah. I mean, look, there's been a lot of content created, particularly on TikTok, where the fabricated clip content that they aired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's now that you got certain people who are just straight up vicious and they just going after people's families and everything like that just for no reason. To me, I just call them plain cowards because if you got a beef with me or anything like that, they have a beef with me. You're gonna go after family members. I don't respect some of these content creators at all that don't feel that they have to do that just because they want to have a power trip.
Well, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Hurt people hurt people, and these are people that have trauma that is left untreated. What they really need to do is get therapy.
Right. But then you got certain people who are just straight up cowards. It's not even about sometimes just being a hurt person because you got people who are hurt, but yet they don't want to see other people that hurt. And then you got certain people that they just think that that they're entitled to everything, and nobody has actually told them like, okay, you ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, look, the fact of the matter is we have seen individuals that have been doxxed, individuals that have been, or anything for multiple reasons. And it's just that
But
some people,
but but you
they,
but, but you
go
have
ahead.
to admit, Jose, I did warn you about a situation before it happened.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I mean, when everything is said and done, about the best thing you can do is just be mindful of the content that you air and what you say, and
Right.
just keep it positive and keep it moving.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I mean, like, I mean, even though I'm not up to 1K yet, but I've fought hard for my 472, so therefore that's all I got to say. And I'm proud of myself.
Well, I'm currently at 496, so I'm like four away from
Exactly.
500.
Exactly.
Okay, and I have managed to do that without being naked in the gym.
Yeah, I haven't really done that. I haven't really done that just without mentioning names or anything like that. I mean, I may have, but it's not to the point that these people are gonna go and give me some clout anyways because you know some of these people who actually run their groups or whatever. I
Yes.
was hearing I was hearing that a lot of people are actually leaving because they seeing that some of these people who want to say that they're leaders, albeit so-called freedom fighters, they're actually just running a cult and people just calling them out on it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. Have you known anyone that been penalized due to their content, or basically lost their employment?
I
Uh,
mean, I did hear of a toxic content creator. I guess when he did start, he was working. I guess some other people that he was against, they found out where he worked at, and they called his job or whatsoever. So or something, and I've heard that the situation that happened with Multi. Now, me personally, I'm not gonna go around as far as Multi and stuff. I only communicated with Multi as far as Gigi's page or whatever. I haven't really communicated her offline or whatever. But to me, if you're gonna go and not like her content, okay, that's another thing. But why the heck do you actually feel like you have to go and contact her boyfriend's place of employment for what? Now you can get to her because her job is so mean. I mean, is it federal? I don't know. But to me, if you're gonna go and get after a person's boyfriend's job just because you feel intimidated and everything like that, I mean that could be grounds for a lawsuit.
okay, but you know what the problem is when it comes to home. Okay, those type of lawsuits are very hard to prove because you have to prove that there's something substantial you have
Right.
to you have to prove a substantial way that you did that to her and easier said than done.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is, though, because I have certain people, that I've had who are friends and that have studied law. There's like in certain cases when it comes to like to that situation, it's like you could actually it could be easier said than done, right? But then at the same time, if a person loses employment or anything like that, or you're actually putting a person's email at risk or something like that, that could actually and if you have proof that could actually be grounds for a lawsuit because at the end of the day, unless if you're like an elected official or anything like that, you know that could actually be put like in law that you actually putting a person's life in danger. And there's a lot of people that that they have doxing lawsuits because of that. I mean, just look at this chick Megan Thee Stallion now. She's now claiming that that Tori is harassing her through prison, and now she's actually having a lawsuit and an order of protection on him in prison.
Mhm.
So they say.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start to wrap this up because I try to keep it under 2 hours. What is? Are you able to go to the backstage real quick?
I mean, me personally, I'm about to go and start my live in a little bit.
Okay. All
So
right. Well,
therefore,
yeah.
I might just try to do like a 2 hour thing or something like that. So I'm
Okay.
just gonna
Fine.
drink a little bit of coffee or something.
Yeah. I'll try. I'll catch it on the playback. Thanks again for stopping by.
Anytime.
Okay. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Okay.
Okay.
So just to wrap this up. When it comes to social media, um, just be mindful of the fact that that hair remains, in the internet forever. So, just as always, I really appreciate. Uh, I'm gonna put you in the backstage because I don't know what's going on with your
All
signal
right.
end. Okay. So as I stated before, just be mindful that whatever you say or post um, does remain on the internet forever. Now, I'm going to be doing a short Christmas Eve message tomorrow night around 7 o'clock, most likely. And then the next time um, that I will do a live will be Thursday talking about Kwanzaa. So, my advice to you is do not post content when you're working. Wait until you get home. Do not share confidential information about your job or your employers or your colleagues, and just be mindful of what you say and do. As always, huge shout out to all those in the chat. Huge shout out to those who appear on the panel. So, if I don't see you or hear from you, I just want to wish you a truly blessed Christmas and a happy New Year. And to our friends of the Jewish faith, happy Hanukkah. And of course, happy Kwanzaa. Okay. And of course, I'm going to close the same way that I always close. We must do everything possible to avoid the presence of the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by the stupidity and massive insanity. This has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Hossein Brown saying good night, take care, and peace.